CZ firearms are known for their exceptional quality, and more importantly, they offer that quality at very reasonable prices compared to their competition. The CZ Scorpion is an exceptional subgun that costs hundreds less than similar guns. The CZ Bren is an amazing next-gen rifle that is very similar to the FN Scar but costs substantially less. I'd pretty confidently say that no matter what type of gun you're looking for, if you turn to CZ, you'll get the absolute best that you can get for your money. The CZ P10 is the same way. CZ really sat back, watched what the competition did right and wrong, then showed up fashionably late to the recent striker-fired 9 Frenzy with what is probably the strongest pistol right out of the box. So we wanted to make sure that we got well over 1,000 rounds through the new CZ P10 before we reviewed it, to make sure that if there were any problems we'd find them, and we really pretty much couldn't find a thing. Now, that's not saying this pistol is for everyone. It does have a couple quirks that may not make it perfect for some people, and we'll get to those. However, I do feel that most people would absolutely love this gun. First off, let's talk about the trigger, because that seems to be the most groundbreaking thing that everybody is talking about. In my initial video, I said that mine was gritty right out of the box, but it actually has smoothed out quite well. Mine is breaking at right about 4 1/4 pounds. The take-up, as I said now, is so smooth. It really is exceptional. There's just an ultra smooth, like rolling sensation, no stacking or building up, just like a smooth rolling. Then the break is as crisp as glass and nice and light. The shape of the trigger is interesting. It's almost like a flat trigger, however does have the slightest bow to it. I really like the feel of it, and it's kind of a happy medium between a flat and traditional trigger, and it feels very good. The reset is mind-blowing. It's so short, like scary short. With practice, this reset will allow you to get very quick follow-up shots and run the gun very quickly. I would say that this reset is the shortest of any striker-fired gun right out of the box. Everyone wants to compare it to what I would agree is the current champion of the striker-fired trigger, the Walther PPQ. I have a few PPQs, and while I can't explain it, the lightest trigger I have is in my PPQ 45. It consistently pulls at under 4 pounds. Here's what I'll say on comparing the triggers. I would say that the PPQ is lighter on the break. All of my PPQs pull just slightly lighter than the P10. However, the take-up is so much smoother and the reset is shorter on the P10. And with the pull weights being so close, I would say that the best overall trigger is in the P10. I'm not saying that the PPQ is even close to a bad trigger. It's kind of like we're comparing a Ferrari and a Lamborghini here, but I would give the slight edge to the P10 overall. The grip is absolutely amazing, and this is another area where you can tell that CZ really did their homework, and at least in my opinion got everything right. First off, the grip is instantly nice and slim, and it has a grip angle closer to that of a 1911 than that of a Glock. The grip overall is somewhat reminiscent of the CZ75 or SP01, which I also feel have absolutely phenomenal grips. Most notably, the trigger guard has a really nice deep undercut, and that coupled with a really high beaver tail lets you grip the gun up nice and high. Being able to get your hand up high on the gun makes the bore axis lower, making the muzzle flip less and lowering felt recoil. One thing that carried over from the P07 is these nice little patches of texturing to rest your trigger finger on when it's not on the trigger. It's really nice having a tactile place to put your finger when it's not on the trigger. There's also slight indentations around the magazine well, should you ever need to rip the magazine out of the gun. There are also interchangeable back straps so that you can dial in the exact grip that fits your hand. The grip has also just the slightest swells on the sides for your palms and in front where the finger grooves on a Glock would be. The texturing is very aggressive. For me, it is perfect. I really like the feel of it, and I don't think my grip on this gun will ever slip, even if my hands became wet or anything else. Now, I could easily see that some people may think the grip texture is too aggressive because it's definitely walking that line of what may be too aggressive for a factory gun.
Damn, I like that. God, that's nice.
I think it may be one of those things where most people put Talon grips on other guns to increase their texture. People may actually put Talon grips on the P10 to decrease its texture. Overall, in my opinion, the grip is the best currently available from a striker-fired 9. The contours and cuts are so perfectly, it just really fits in the hand nicely. And to me, the texturing feels like a very well done custom stippling job. Whatever you do, don't field strip your new CZ P10 in front of your Glock. You'll give the Glock serious inadequacy issues. All of the internals on the P10 are massive. The barrel lugs are massive, the ejector is huge, the slide lock is even built out of pretty thick steel. The locking block is immense, and most interestingly, the slide rails in front are actually part of the locking block and not just inserts in the polymer. It also only has a single spring recoil system, and it seems like most companies are going with dual springs, but I don't really know why, because I've got Gen 3 Glocks with thousands of rounds through them that have never had a problem. It's really nice to see that everything on the inside seems to be really well built, and it also makes it easy to see why the P10 is about 5 ounces heavier than the Glock 19. Now that's not much, but it is important to note. The slide lock is really well built and it does function from either side of the gun. I also really like how slim it is. However, if you're really big on using it as a slide release on reloads, it doesn't work great for that. I feel by looking at the design of the lever, I think that it is intended as a slide lock and not a release because there's no real shelf to put your finger on. I will say that my buddy came up with this method of using your thumb and trigger finger simultaneously to release the slide. While I understand that is bad form, but it will release the slide very easily with this method. I will say that I think the intended method is to slingshot it back into battery, and this isn't a big deal to me, but I know that it is to some people, so I wanted to let everybody know that the slide release can be a little difficult. Some other nice features are the cold hammer forged barrel. It comes with metal sights that have a nice ledge for one-handed manipulation should you need to. The slide serrations are also deep, closely spaced on the front and back of the slide and work extremely well. The front is also nicely rounded off to make reholstering easier. All really good stuff and shows that CZ did their homework and really did an excellent job trying to hit everyone's wish list for a service pistol. The magazine release is well thought out too. It's ambi right out of the box, made of metal, and actually has some nice texturing to it. The way it functions is unique as well. There's a small paddle inside the grip that retains the mag, and hitting either mag release moves the paddle, thus releasing the mag. This is a much better design than the FN, which is the only other company to my knowledge that offers an ambidextrous magazine release right out of the box. Another huge thing that CZ did with the design is to make the P10 work with most Glock 19 holsters, and it will also work with CZ P07 holsters as well. We tried 4 different Glock 19 holsters and my P07 holster from Harry's Holsters, and they all work great. This was so smart because one of the irritating things about buying a new gun is waiting for holsters to become available, but not a problem with the P10 and a huge advantage for CZ. Magazines are actually backwards compatible with the CZ P07, and I think that if you buy a P07 now, it comes with mags that will work in the P10. The P10 requires the cut in the front, and CZ will be phasing out the magazines without the cut. That extra cut in the front is the only difference in the mags. The bodies and everything else are the same. I love it when a manufacturer makes mags that will work in multiple models. So it can't be helped but to make the obvious comparison to the Glock 19. And the question is always asked, is this a Glock killer? And I would say that yes it is.
Today we lay to rest a good friend and a longtime companion. He stuck with me and I stuck with him through the years. Sure, there were bumps along the road. The M&P, the PPQ, the great VP9 scare. But we stuck together. Rode it out. But then 2017 came along, the onslaught, the APX, M&P 2.0, and the final nail in the coffin, CZ P10. It was just more than the old guy could take.
Okay, that may be a bit harsh, but if you look around at the competition, Glock is falling way behind the curve, and the CZ P10 just pushed that curve that much farther. Glock is now as out of date as the revolvers that it replaced back in the 80s. A ton of new pistols have come out in the past 12 months, and I think that they are all at least ergonomically superior to the Glock. In fact, if you're a consumer that has a good knowledge of all these new pistols, why in the world would you buy a new Glock with all these better options out there? Now, do I think that Glock is going to stop selling guns and just go out of business? No, of course not. But what I do think they need to do is go back to the drawing board and do a massive revamp of their gun. I really like Glock, and I'm not getting rid of any of my Glocks, but I really feel to stay competitive they're going to need to make some serious changes, and it would seem that at least currently, the new bar has been set by the CZ P10. Shooting the CZ P10 is amazing. The trigger is phenomenal, the sights are good, ergonomics are outstanding, and all that adds up to a gun that is very enjoyable to shoot. Accuracy is phenomenal. We all felt it was so accurate that we wanted to shoot it 85 yards, and no one really had a problem hitting the 10-inch plate at the 85-yard line. I can't say that I remember another gun that everyone could do that with. This comes to what may really be my only concern with the P10. It may be too good. The P10 really walks that line between a service pistol and a match gun. I would say that the trigger is so good that in stressful situations, it may be too light, with a reset that is too short for a self-defense gun for some people. Now, I think this is more of a training issue, especially if you're a newer shooter. I'd make sure I got a good deal of training with any gun, but maybe even more so with the P10. That's just a small observation for a select group of people. For the majority of shooters, the P10C is the new apex of service pistol or striker-fired 9 on the market. The price is another aspect that really pushes this gun into the stratosphere. With an MSRP of only $500 and with a street price that sometimes can be cheaper than that, you get a whole lot of gun for very little cash. When you think about the fact that you would have to spend close to $2,000 on a ZEV or Salient Glock to get all the combined features that the CZ offers you for only $500 is mind-blowing. There are a lot of phenomenal pistols on the market right now, but at least in my opinion, the CZ P10 is the new king of the hill. If you're in the market for a new handgun, you would be doing yourself a disservice if you didn't give this gun a look. While I can't confirm it, I'm pretty confident that the P in CZ P10 stands for perfect. The CZ Perfect 10. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like the video, go ahead and hit like, share it on your social media, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. If you want to help support Alabama Arsenal, the best possible way to do that is by clicking the links in the description. Check out Grunt Style Clothing, shop at Brownells, and check out Gun Prime. I know that a lot of you are like me and you may have a slight gun addiction problem. Well, when you're looking to get your CZ fix, make sure you check out Nichols Outfitters. They always have tons of CZs in stock, plus they carry a full lineup of just about anything else you could want. And on top of that, they're a Class 3 dealer. On any given day, you could find me over at the suppressor counter drooling all over all the suppressors. It's a great shop. You guys need to really check them out.